The conflict between Israel and Gaza is one of the most complex, emotional, and long running disputes in the world. It spans more than a century, shaped by identity, displacement, nationalism, and the struggle of two people who both call the same land home. In the next 30 minutes, we will explore how this conflict began, how it evolved, and how it has led to the crisis we see today. This is not a story with the simple villains or simple heroes. It is a story of human beings, of fear, hope, trauma, and determination. Let's step back in time to understand how we got here. Let's dive into historical roots. Before modern nation states dominated the map, the land known as Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire. For centuries, it was a home for diverse population, mainly Arab Muslims along with Christians and the smaller Jewish community. In the late 1800s, a new idea began taking shape among Jews in Europe. This idea was Zionism, a movement that sought a homeland where Jews could live in safety after facing persecution and discrimination across Europe. For many Zionists, the ancient land of Israel held deep historical and spiritual significance. Around the same time, the Arab population of Palestine developed its own growing national identity. They too saw the land as their ancestral home, shaping their culture, community, and the way of life for generations. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed, and the Britain took control of the region under what it became known as British Mandate. During this period, Jewish immigration increased, partly driven by growing anti-Jewish violence in Europe. As Jewish communities grew and bought land, tensions rose between Jewish immigrants and the Arab Palestine population. Both groups aspired to nationhood. Both believed they had legitimate claims, and both feared that the other ambitions would come at their expense. In 1917, the British government issued the Balfour Declaration supporting the establishment of national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. However, it did not clearly address the rights of the Arab population already living there. Over the following decades, violence, protests, and the clashes became more frequent. By the 1940s, the situation reached a breaking point. Britain, unable to manage the conflict, handed the problem to the newly formed United Nations. The world was about to change dramatically. Now we will look into partition, war, and Nakba. In 1947, the United Nations proposed dividing the land into two states, one Jewish and one Arab, with Jerusalem as their international city. Jewish leaders accepted the plan, seeing it as a path to independence. Arab leaders rejected it, believing it was unfair and it disregarded the rights of the majority of Arab population. The tensions exploded into fighting between local Jewish and Arab communities. When Israel declared its independence in 1948, nearby Arab states entered the conflict, and the first Arab-Israeli war began. By the time fighting ended in 1949, Israel controlled more land than the originally allocated by the UN. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were displaced from their homes, an event Palestinians call the Nakba or catastrophe. Many fled or were expelled and became refugees in Gaza, the West Bank, Jordan, Lebanon, and beyond. The impact was profound. For Israelis, the creation of State of Israel represented survival and self-determination after centuries of persecution. For Palestinians, it meant the loss of their homes, their land, and their sense of security. This dual strategy created opposing national memories that still shape the conflict today. A major turning point came in 1967 during the Six-Day War. Israel captured several territories including the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip. This placed more than 1 million Palestinians under Israel military occupation. In the following years, Israel's settlements were established in the newly occupied territories. For Palestinians, this meant increasing restrictions, checkpoints, and limitation on the movement. For Israelis, many saw settlement as a way to secure strategic or historically significant areas. Tensions continue to rise. In 1987, the first Intifada began, a widespread Palestinian uprising driven by frustration and hopelessness under occupation. The uprising brought global attention to the conflict and pressured both sides to seek a political solution. By the early 1990s, the world hoped that the peace might finally be within reach. In 1990s, Israel and Palestine Liberation Organization signed the Oslo Accords. For the first time, both sides officially recognized each other. The agreements created the Palestinian Authority and gave Palestinians limited self-rule in the parts of West Bank and Gaza. Many believed this would eventually lead to the independent Palestinian state, but the optimism didn't last. Key issues such as borders, refugees, Israeli settlements, the status of Jerusalem, and security were left unresolved. Violence continued, political trust eroded, and the peace process stalled. In Gaza, economic struggles and the political frustrations deepened. By the mid-2000s, internal Palestinian political divisions intensified. In 2005, Israel withdrew its settlers and military forces from inside Gaza, but maintained control over its borders, airspace, and coastline. A year later, internal Palestinian conflict led to Gaza coming under the governments of Hamas, while the West Bank remained under the Palestinian Authority. From this point onward, Gaza became increasingly isolated and vulnerable. Over the past 2 decades, Israel and Gaza have experienced repeated rounds of conflict, cycle of rocket fire, airstrike, and military operations. Each escalation brought destruction, trauma, and loss of life, preliminary affecting civilians. In 2023, the conflict escalated dramatically after a major attack on Israel by Hamas. Israel launched a large-scale military campaign inside Gaza in response. The results were devastating. The entire neighborhoods were destroyed. Thousands of families were displaced. Food, water, fuel, and medical supplies became scarce. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Israel faced its own suffering, communities traumatized, hostages taken, and deep national shock. Multiple attempts at ceasefires were made, but fighting resumed several times through 2024 and 2025. By the end of confrontations, Gaza was left in extremely fragile humanitarian condition. Today, the crisis remains unresolved. Gaza faces widespread displacement, shortage of basic supplies, damaged infrastructure, limited medical services, and immense challenges in rebuilding. Israel continues to face security concerns, regional tensions, political pressure, and deep internal divisions over the future of Gaza and the border conflict. The international organizations continue to push humanitarian aid, reconstruction efforts, and political negotiations. Yet the path forward remains uncertain. The conflict is now one of the most documented and debated crises in the world, yet still one of the most hardest to resolve. Peace has been attempted many times, but lasting progress has been elusive. The core issues are highly sensitive, such as the borders of future Palestinian state, security of Israelis, the rights of Palestinian refugees, the state of Jerusalem, Israel settlement expansion, political division among the Palestinians, and the generations of trauma and mistrust. Both Israelis and Palestinians have deep emotional, historical, and religious ties to the land. Both have suffered greatly, and both have legitimate fears and hopes that shape their politics. These realities make compromise extremely challenging, but also essential for any future peace. These realities make compromise extremely challenging, but also essential for any future peace. And finally, we can conclude the story of Israel and Gaza is a story of two people longing for safety, dignity, and self-determination. It is a story shaped by history, loss, resilience, and struggle to build a future. Understanding this conflict means recognizing the humanity on both sides and the complex forces that brought us to where we are today. Peace may feel distant, but countless individuals, organizations, and communities continue to work towards it. Thank you for watching Dayaka. If you like my content, please subscribe, like, and comment. and don't forget to share with your friends. Thank you.